System, City School System Board of Education for June 12th. Kind of late, it's already June 12th. When you sit at home, you don't have any idea what day it is. Just the next day. I ask you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And before you there, the adoption of the agenda and the approval of the last minutes. Everybody had an opportunity to review those, and if so, could I have a motion to adopt the agenda and approval of the last minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All right, any other discussion? Deletions or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by the uplifted hand. Thank you very much. All right, information items. Dr. McMullen.
All right, student staff recognition. While we certainly had a lot that we could have brought since students are enjoying summer, Ms. Hardy has planned for our spring teams that we need to recognize. We'll do that when the school year starts back in August. So we'll be able to bring those folks because certainly a lot to celebrate. Okay, so none today.
Did Teresa do that article for the
on the director's cut? Yes, she did.
Yeah, I will say there was a nice article in the Jackson Herald about the director's cut.
That's what I was just talking about. It's a great article.
Coach Navis said some awesome stuff too.
Yeah.
Kim said, don't say anything about it, he'll get the big
You got to live with it, right?
I'm just so proud of, I couldn't tell you, when that came out, I was just so proud of everybody, our whole administration, everybody. I mean, honestly, it's a collective effort, and to do it in 5A, then go down to 3A, and then to do it across the board, and we don't have to even put a caveat, Brantley, saying public versus private, is awesome.
Yeah.
Huge. So huge. Kudos to y'all.
Very good. Thank you, Teresa.
You know, the most ironic thing was to me was it took everybody in every sport, in every rec department, everybody. But at the end of the day, it came down to golf.
Yeah.
And our public school golf team that doesn't have a golf course in the city limits beat Mayor's golf team, basically, is what it came down to. How ironic is that?
Pulled it out when I needed to.
Exactly.
Well, if we put that.
For about 4 hours. I texted Brantley nonstop trying to figure out exactly what we need and don't need.
Maybe you could talk Miss Ferguson into when we do that. Synthetic surface over there. Could you put some holes in there too? Let the golf team come over there and use it after school hours. So.
And Ronnie, if I could just say one little additional thing, my husband read Coach Navis's article, and it was like Marsh Bryant, everybody thanks everybody. So.
Full circle moment, huh?
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Financial reports.
Okay. Well, just like Dr. McMillan said, we're in the tail end of the fiscal year, so we're almost 92% of the year complete. And you can see before you the revenues, which represents 93% completion. The M&O taxes, like I said, we're going to be squeaking to the end of that. We're going to come close to that number, but we'll probably be slightly under that balance that remains due to that change that I mentioned to y'all, modification that happened from an appeal back in October. So, but everything else is trending according to plan. We ended the month $10,732,954 in reserves. Obviously, as we close out, June's expenses will be more because we always have to make sure we reflect the 12-month. For example, utilities, we pay May's expenses in June, but June's fall in July, which we have to code June 30th. So a lot of times June looks like kind of like a double dip month because you have to reflect the costs of June 30th as they're incurred. So anyway, as we get to that end, we'll be finalizing off. I do expect our fund reserves to be slightly under where we ended last year, but we're going to be close to that. So good job by everybody. Again, everybody thanks everybody on coming in on this budget. So thank y'all. Is that okay? We can go to the special.
Okay, well, let me ask a question. How much of that is attributable to an underrun?
We do. We have some categories of underrun, like there might be some expenses and benefits that we underrun because we plan on new employees taking it. We don't know who's all going to take it. So we have several underruns due to insurance costs. We also have expenses related to utilities. So we budget out what we expect on utilities, whether it's fuel for transportation, obviously the utilities that we look at every month. So we have projections on that as well. So we're seeing most of our underruns kind of fall in these miscellaneous categories. We do on the salaries for instructional purposes, we have some underruns on that because when we build, and you guys hear me talk about the budget that we build based on average salaries. So depending on who leaves and who comes in, sometimes that creates, I would say, variances. If somebody with 25 years or 30 years left us, but we're replacing with somebody with 10 years. So there's some variances like that regarding salaries, but it's due to kind of people who came versus people who left us. So we do have some of those variances, Ronnie, obviously, that help work in our favor as we're finishing out the fiscal year itself. So, but I'll be happy to lay those out in detail for you.
To some degree, is the difference between 49 million and 43 million? Well, 43 is just today.
Right. No, we spend monthly close to $4 million a month, and like I said, there's some expenses that we have to pay by June 30th, so that causes June costs to go up. So we'll eat into that $5.8 million balance.
Okay.
By the end. So it's just the way the expenses have to fall towards that last part.
That's good. Just where are you going next?
Okay. We have the special revenue fund. And this looks at our other categories, our federal grants, pre-K, and school nutrition program. Federal grants will be zero by fiscal year end because we'll request all those reimbursements. So we'll be zero. Pre-K will be pretty close to zero. We do have to locally fund to make our pre-K balance match. Just because we locally pay local supplements and things like that, but pre-K is not funded for by the state. They fund the state salaries, but not the local portion. So we have that we'll have to account for. And then school nutrition, they're probably going to end the year needing about $300,000 of their reserves to make their year balance. But they ended last year with $1.5 million. So they'll end this year probably somewhere around $1.2 million in fund reserve for the school nutrition program. So it's a good, healthy place for them to be in and have funds for next year. So.
Okay, anybody have any questions about this? If none, we'll move on.
And we'll go to the splash detail report. I'm sure Dr. McMullen shared the splashed distribution for May. It was $556,278, which was 8% more than May of 2024. Very comparable to the April distribution the month before. So no real change as far as comparing April to May, but when you look at May of 24 to May of 25, you see an uptick of 8%. You can see the interest payment below, and then to the right, you can see the expenses that we paid out of the splashed account. So based on the splashed account balance, we're showing $2,744,116. But then I also mentioned we have the money that we reimbursed splashed from the capital financing that we just did of $8,188,662. I'm showing that separately because we're gonna reserve those funds obviously for the capital projects that we're undertaking and will undertake, during this 3-year timeframe, for the high school and the elementary school projects.
Is that the reason the interest went up?
Yes, yeah.
It must have been part of the month. It must have been part of the month. That
Yes, it
in there.
was, yes, sir.
Small.
Yep. Because we're earning 4.3, I think it was 4.35 on the LGIP interest rate of that account. So we had in cumulative in the SPLOST account with LGIP is $10,932,778. So we'll continue to, like I said, for purposes of illustration, we're always going to separate out that $8.2 million. Like that, it's reserved, going to be set aside. So we'll focus on managing for normal operation things, replacements, equipment, things like that. That $2.7 million.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, moving right along.
The next report will be the SPLOST projection report. Like I said, if you look at the month of May, I showed the $8.2 million for the PDA financing coming back in. And then kind of looking forward, obviously, a lot less because, previously we were paying for the middle school on this particular project. So this is kind of like a best guesstimate based on, I call it the normal and typical things that we have paid for out of the SPLOST account. So we'll just keep monitoring and managing those expenses as they come. Some things might, like I said, you're going to have the technology purchases, the Chromebooks, things like that will be coming up in the summertime. So they're typically reflected in that July, August timeframe.
Okay, anybody else have any questions about those? And then we'll move right along.
And then give you an update on the middle school, phase 2. You can see before you that we are 71% complete of the total budget. And so we have a balance of $11.1 million to go. Hoping that we'll meet all of that 11.1. We anticipate underrunning the contingency, not utilizing the contingent or 100% of it anyway. So our remaining balance needs might be somewhere in the ballpark of probably about 10 million versus 11 million. Like I said, we still have to, one thing that's not in this middle school project is the tennis courts. So refinishing the tennis courts, which we talked about would be last, which we're going to do that kind of separate, but it's still affiliated with the middle school complex. That'll be done in the end. So our goal is to utilize part of this underrun to help pay for that part. And it did make sense to do the tennis courts before we finished everything else going on that backside, because that's where the renovations are going to be happening in the old gym and so forth.
Okay, any other questions about that?
Then here's the big numbers report. This is your 2025 PDA financing. I noted at the top, we started at 109,753,000, and then from there you can see the expenses that we've been paying out of the PDA, whether it's the cost of issuance fees and so forth that's involved in the beginning, and then all those reimbursements that we talked about, and then down below you can see the actual projects, expenses themselves that we paid for March, April, and May. And then the balance, I try to reflect things by project that's being funded out of the PBA. I'm willing to talk about what might be most informative for y'all, but I just thought breaking things down by the middle school and the daycare, obviously, and then we get ready to execute the high school, we'll just keep adding as, add as additional columns, but we can talk about which way will be, easiest for everybody to understand. So long story short, we ended the month of May at $89,957,509. Our interest earned through May 30th was $139,000. However, let me caveat, because I know Brantley's probably doing the math in his head. The posting on our interest rate for the Treasury investments representing May happened on June 2nd. So this is May 31st report. So we have a deposit of $199,000 in interest. So our interest earned is around $339,000 for the month. So, because like I said, it's around 4.2%, I believe, was the average between the Treasury and the LGIP when we switched it over to it. The LGIP now is running like 4.35%. So we'll actually pick up a little bit more, but obviously we're going to start spending some of that money. So, but still over $300,000 a month interest is a good place to be. So, so I just want to let you know why that interest is not probably what you might think that it should be, given that that money was sitting in the account for 30 days. That deposit hit on June 2nd, so we'll see that interest in next month's distribution.
Okay. Moving on to what's your next one?
And the utility report, yep. Let's finish out with that. This represents May's expenses for your electric, gas. Actually, gas did not come, our bill didn't come early enough this month, so I still have April, but the water is on here. So you can see where we are current month and year to date. Like I mentioned, for middle schools, the primary culprit is the construction project, because they're tied into our meters on it. And then, of course, the water at the middle school as well is tied into it. So those are our main areas. The other ones that have changes, like the pool, that is the concession stand up at that pool area. And, we had track meet, we had graduation, and so forth. So those represent that. It looks like a big percentage, but dollar-wise, it's not significant.
All right, is that all? Is that all the financial report is? Thank you very much. All right, we'll go to transportation report.
Transportation, fuel, cost $14,520. It's down $881.86. From last month, diesel, cost $3.35. Gas, $2.92, and propane, $2.65. Bus service and repair, $5,219.47, up $3,369.99 from last month. And you see, I have a list of the buses that we've done some work on. Mainly during this time, we'll be doing tires, brakes, drums, oil change, and those kinds of things. So that's those costs for those. Total cost of operations, $19,719.67. That's up $2,488.13 from last month. The transportation personnel, all of the routes, drivers are in place, and we are in need of a sub-driver position and a bus monitor vacancy that we're working on filling in. We're working on so that we'll be ready on August 1st. Currently, we're running 18 regular air routes, 3 sped routes, and 1 GNET route, and that's the plan for 25-26. Field trips, there are 30. We took 32 trips in May. 21 trips are in Google for the month of June presently, and I have no recommendations. At this time, I do want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for your support on the propane infrastructure program. It's complete. At this point, thank you all for coming to the ribbon cutting. really excited about that.
Don't let them get that one bus we're looking to buy now.
Oh, no, that bus should be delivered in a couple of weeks.
Okay,
We're good to go.
all right, I'm just checking, making sure.
Yes, sir.
They go to calling you, next thing you know, they try to take advantage of you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, is that all on that one?
Mm-hmm.
The instructional report.
Dr. Hicks is out of town, so Mr. Moore, I believe you're gonna take this report.
Few things here. First off, summer principal work session. We had a work session with principals after post-planning. Very productive. Principals were able to spend time together, ask questions about procedures in other buildings, and then set up plans for next year. Jefferson Academy 5th grade Washington, D.C. trip. Students and staff, parents had a wonderful time on the trip to Washington, D.C. Reported that one parent commented that the amount of history packed into 3 days is unbelievable. And Dinner Cruise was added to the trip this year, which gave students an opportunity to see the monuments on the common trip. Next is the middle school national parks trip. Our 8th grade students enjoyed San Francisco, Muir Woods, Yosemite, and rafting on the Merced River. Throughout the trip, adults frequently approached us asking about the purpose of our visit and were consistently amazed at how polite and well-behaved our students were. They couldn't believe that a public school system provides such an amazing opportunity. Always a report from the principals there. And then the high school national parks trip. During the 7-hour weather delay at the Denver airport, our students happened to be talking to a person that we later met as the wife of the Admiral of the Pacific Fleet of the Coast Guard. She was so impressed with our students that she invited our group to her private residence, which includes the diamond-headed lighthouse at Waikiki Beach. Wow. So it was an amazing experience.
Wow.
Did they go?
I saw some pictures of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
It was kids that the adult spoke to at the airport that really got the connection. She just started talking to two of our students, and that's when the students introduced her to Mr. Cleveland, and they worked out the plan to get over to the lighthouse.
When was this due?
I'm not really sure, Brandon, you didn't say that part. You text them?
Well, no, I'm just saying that's,
Curious, that's nice.
need that student on my team. Talk your way into that. Sell anything.
Picture of the house they own.
They're gonna send a group picture back to them. They have in the lighthouse a wall of famous people, and they're gonna send our group picture to them, and they said they would like to put it up in their.
Oh, it's nice.
I love that.
Great experience.
It's great.
All right, Scotland exchange program. 18 students left Saturday night from Atlanta, arrived in Scotland at 7 p.m. on Sunday. Visited Glasgow and traveled to St. Andrews for an overnight stay. And reports are they're having a wonderful time. They'll be there until
Next.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Strategic plan. Dr. Steve Barker from the GSBA will meet with us on June 23rd to review our plan. It will be presented for approval at the July 4 meeting. Our new staff welcome and orientation. Day 1 is a dragon. On July 16th, we'll have all new employees to the field house orientation. We'd like to join us for lunch and a panel discussion after lunch.
Yeah,
More details will be coming as we get closer to that date of July 16th.
And could I mention one thing here? I know that I've sent the board a lot of dates, and I promise I will remind you closer to the date, but something else on the 16th, just so we can keep you busy that day. You have lunch at the Civic Center, and then there'll be the panel discussion so that our new staff can hear directly from the board members. And then Kim Alexander has requested, she is also going to invite the foundation board members, so I will send an email about this, but she would like to, at 1:30 that day, we figured that might be a good day since you're already there for lunch, the panel discussion, leave the Civic Center and go to the daycare, and she would like for you all to come on a tour. Principals and assistant principals will also be invited, and not for the board or the foundation board members, but principals and assistant principals, she would like for you all to donate a toy for birth to age 4 if you want to come and tour the facility. But I'll send out an email, but just so you all know that that'll give an opportunity for you to see that facility before we
That
open
sounded
it up.
like if they don't want to come, they don't have to bring a
That's
toy.
right. If they don't want to give a toy, they can't come. No. I think that's a little bit of a bribery. You come see it and bring a toy, right? Is Miss Beckwith back there? Wouldn't that be a good plan? So I'll send out an email, but because we were talking about July 16th, that is something that we would like to do that day as well. Okay.
Back to school guide, parent resource will be available at the end of this month, so that'll be going out pretty soon here in the next couple of weeks. Online registration will open at the beginning of July. Sending information out about that to our parents. School dog scholarship. Jefferson City Schools was awarded $1,000 for the use of the school dog program to monitor safety on our campuses. Our APs, our SROs, principals, they identified concerns, safety concerns, door locks, doors propped open, that sort of thing on our school dog app that they have. And we use this so frequently. We were one of the top 20 schools in the state. We won a scholarship, and our safety team selected Balin Riley to receive the scholarship for his contribution to the safety and well-being of students at Jefferson School. So proud of Balin. He does go above and beyond the school safety. Appreciate him. Book adoptions will be adopting books for 2 high school courses, graphic design and food and nutrition. These will be available for review for the next 30 days. And books for graphic design, digital design, and print essentials, and the book for food and nutrition, principle of food science. So those will be available for review at the central office over the next month. So, and then technology updates. Story.
Well, our Windows machines, they came in, and so the technology team has been working to image those devices and get those deployed, as well as collecting technology from books and all the summer little projects we have. We will also be installing all new network switches and additional access points at the middle school starting June 18th. And then we're working on getting those bells and intercom installed as well. We're looking at a July install there. And it's just going to be a busy summer.
Already is.
Yeah.
It's going fast.
Is that all we have there?
Some stores.
Yeah.
Okay.
Facilities.
What about the
Yeah.
CTAE technology? He went over those.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And those, and yes, that's right. Those will lie on the table for 30 days, as Mr. Moore mentioned. Do you, Tom, do you have anything you want to add about the principles of food science? That's our new pathway that we're adding. So we'll have textbooks there.
And then Ms. Marcotte is getting ready to complete the pathway in the next year. So this book will just be ready to meet the industry standards. So she just felt like she did where she get that research. And it comes with printed and online research.
That's an interesting situation, and I hope you'll keep us apprised of how many students we have that are interested in that pathway.
In the food nutrition,
Yeah,
we can fill her up with the interest.
that's good.
She's got 3 full classes right now. So, high interest in it.
All right.
It doesn't appear to be pulling from anywhere else, though. It's hard. So, really good numbers in our CTA courses right now.
Thank you. And balanced scorecard and strategic plan update.
Yes. So the balanced scorecard, I know in the instructional program report we talked about the meeting with Steve Barker on the 23rd. So we are finishing up the current strategic plan and that balanced scorecard. The balanced scorecard will actually become part of the strategic plan, and those will be key performance indicators. And so all of that, once we meet with Steve Barker, and then you all review that and approve in July, then that our plan will actually be loaded into Assembly. So anybody can go in just like you do with the board meetings. You can access that plan, and there will be a timeline, so regular progress checks to see how many of the items that we have listed in that plan that we're making progress toward over the next 5 years.
Okay.
And then we need to go, the facilities report. Brian's going to do the facilities report. It's before CTAE.
Well, I'd already done it.
Yes, that's right.
I'm sorry, Brian.
He's moving us along.
Pictures too.
I've already looked at the pictures.
All right, just a few things here. Middle school construction update on the admin and gym additions that were completed in May. Carol Daniel was working on punch list items. What they're doing currently is the 7th grade wing and the connections upper half and hallway. On the 7th grade wing, the lockers have already been removed, floor tiles has been removed, as well as the ceiling tile and plumbing fixtures. They're moving pretty quick. They're full days working into the evenings and the weekends, so they're really getting after it. 75% complete with wall and ceiling prep, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing demolition, ceiling prep, and first coat of paint. 75% complete, and halfway, our bar HVAC units have been removed. They're all on the back walkway at the middle school waiting to be picked up, and our new bar HVAC are starting to be installed, and new bar tiles has been installed in the restroom, so 50% complete there. The connections is more of a deeper renovation. We just took out everything, took out some of the walls because those classrooms, the media center is turning into 2 classrooms, so it's a little bit more involved. Complete there, the floor and interior wall demolition, VCT has been demolished, ceiling, and they have poured a new concrete slab in one particular area. Halfway done with the new interior wall, sheetrock, and subsea. Do have some pictures. So, that first picture is the front of the school. Nice, already using entering the building there. Our 7th grade entrance is now a construction zone, so entering the building there, main. That's inside the main office, looking out toward the front door. I don't know what to do with all that room. That next picture, you're standing in the cafeteria, looking out towards where the courtyard will be. They went ahead and took that wall out, and I'll show you a phasing map here in just a second, kind of explain a little bit further, but so that has been done. They'll go back by the time we start back on August 1st. They'll go back with the new flooring, but it'll just butt up to the existing cafeteria. So there's still some work to be done there. And that is inside the media center. There's some offices in there that have been taken out. The main ceiling has been taken out. What you see there is the sub-ceiling above. That is the middle school gym entrance. Won't be using that next year. That'll still be a laydown area, but they do have it done. We'll be accessing the gym from the backside of the school still. And that last picture is a picture of the gym.
So pretty.
Really looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I do want to show you this so you just kind of understand where we are. This was phase 1. That was the classrooms that were done a couple of years ago. In yellow here, that's the main front office and the new gym, phase 2. This summer, you're seeing what they're doing in red. So there's the 7th grade, new floor, new ceiling, new paint, lockers have been removed. And then this is the upper connections classroom. Those will be done as well. As I mentioned earlier, that's a more detailed renovation right there. And that's the area that that wall was taken out right here. So now we'll have access to this hallway. And by doing that, it gave us, Carol Daniel was able to work it in, so we weren't going to get access to these 3 self-contained classrooms, but because we were able to talk them into giving us that hallway, we will, which was much needed. So, then once the school year gets started, the blue will be the next phase. And, folks who will be working on it from Carroll Daniel, they won't have to go through our school building. They'll access the building right here through the courtyard, so we won't have the courtyard until summer of '26. And then for this side over here, they'll just go right in there. And then probably somewhere around spring break, May 1st, is when they'll start working on the cafeteria and kitchen area. So,
And then those other wings are gonna be summer of
yeah,
20.
sorry. Yeah, the beige wings, that's the 6th grade wing, and 8th grade, that'll be summer of '26. And the green will happen, that's the existing gym that will turn into cheer, wrestling, and weight. That's gonna happen during the school year. So during the school year, it'll be blue and green will be worked on. Next summer, they'll be renovating the 6th and 8th grade. In the cafeteria. You saw how that cafeteria wall was taken down, how much more room you're gonna have in there. So it'll be real nice.
So we're just kind of putting a Band-Aid on that for now, like cleaning it up a little bit, so it can still be used.
Yeah.
Point out where the new entrance will be.
New entrance.
So are the remaining walls in the purple, like where the cafeteria, is that still there, like?
This wall
Yes.
right here is still there, yes, and will be there throughout the school year. This one that was an exterior wall that was taken down. There's a little hallway right here, which gives us access to these 3 classrooms, which is critical for next year.
Anybody else have any questions about that?
Good. All right, the next thing, press box modification. The 3rd story of the press box is open air, and it took on water with rain, and that flooring has rotted. Needs to be addressed. At the end of the football season last year, and drug track season, they pretty much cut off usage up there. The railing was very loose. So we've got a plan to go in with new flooring, new walls, HVAC up there, so it will be enclosed. Carroll Daniel has committed to paying for a portion of the modifications. You see this as an action item. Then the next thing is middle school weight room flooring. This was part of the project, the initial project. We asked to take that out so we could match the same flooring that we have in the arena weight room, and provide us credit to us for the amount of the weight room floor. And as I mentioned, it's the same as what we had in the arena, which everybody, Mike Moore, and everybody likes that flooring. Any questions about the press box? And then Russell, maintenance updates.
Well, this summer's been kind of a start and stop and mid-move, bob and weave kind of summer. We were supposed to have trailers set up the first week of summer let out, and we still have trailers because of the rain. So I'm having to bounce my guys around and they're doing lights and changed out 3 bar unit air conditioning. So they're working on the ceiling tiles and all of those. Can't think of what all we've done. We went over and removed a lot of stuff from the middle school, 7th grade hall that we're reusing. It's been a chaotic summer to say the least, but hopefully in the next week it'll start coming together. If we have to get a helicopter in to set trailers up, I don't know. We got one sitting in a low spot right now that's kind of got bogged down.
Yeah, if you'll remember, we got 1 trailer going to the elementary school, that one's been moved, and 2 going to the high school. We tried to move those this week, the 2 to the high school.
Where are you putting those at the high school?
Just below the tennis court parking lot. They want to lose any parking, so we're going to do some fence work, open that area up for the trailers. Down there in the same area.
Or we just have a mobile home park down there?
Vernon Cottage.
What she said?
Learning
Learning
cottage.
cottage.
But that is the one area on campus where we don't anticipate construction taking place.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? We met on middle school today, the facilities committee again, and it's coming right along. And they are getting stuck with some stuff they're going to have to do during school this year to get to the point where they'll have a shot at finishing everything by next summer. Okay. Any
See
other
Casey
questions?
and Corey Gunner too, I public thanking them. Casey working their tail ends off, weekends, holidays.
Yeah. They're doing, what was that thing you told, about when you contacted, Kaysen, said he contacted, he replied at 5:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
Something going on at the middle school, and he replied at 5:15. I guess he's getting ready to go. Full day. All right. Next thing we have is any public comment?
We need to, do action. Oh, you want to do public comment before action items?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they got done here.
Yeah. Okay.
They left it off, in fact.
That's right.
Action item.
Oh, okay.
No, I guess it goes up here. Yeah, I see it. We have no public comment, so we'll go back to action items. Approve the spending resolution.
Okay, you have the spending resolution. This is required because we do not have an approved budget at this time. So you have the document attached there, and we anticipate we have to do this each month until we have that approved budget in place. So the recommendation would be to approve this spending resolution for July 2025.
All right.
Still have a tax.
Yeah.
So these are the same things we've done every year.
That's right.
Yes.
Are you seen and heard the recommendation? Superintendent, to have a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion made and seconded to adopt the spending resolution. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by upward hand. Thank you very much.
All right, surplus lists. We have 2 lists. We'll do surplus items this month, and then we'll give the schools another month to be able to clean and gather some other lists for next month. But for the academy, you have some outdated curriculum materials and some old furniture there. And then at the high school, it looks like they have some equipment and various supplies from the healthcare pathway that they need some books and mannequins that they want to surplus. So I would like to make the recommendation that you approve these items to be surplused.
Thank you. You heard the recommendation of the superintendent about the surplus items from the academy and high school. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion down there on the far end. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I thought I heard Brantley.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. I got it.
You got it. Brantley got it second. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So uncommon, I didn't realize it. All right, we have a motion and a second.
Mr. Huey usually likes to look at those surplus
Sure
lists,
does.
and he's not here, so.
All right.
Press box repairs.
No, wait a minute. All those
sorry.
in favor signify with upward hand. Thank you very much. Now we're going to press box.
All right. Mr. Moore mentioned this in the facilities report, and I also sent the action items for your review in the email, so you've had a chance to take a look at that. On the attached document, it specifies the scope of work there, and it is in the amount of $73,669.93, and Carol Daniel has agreed to pay, I believe it was $15,000 of that
Of that
amount.
figure.
Of that figure, yes. So 73,000 minus the 15,000, but we have it listed here.
And the actual modifications to enclose that area versus open air, like Dr. McMillan said, it's, about 35 of it is that, and then the other, like I said, 24,000 is to put some lettering, because I don't know if you sit on the home side, you don't see it, but if you sit on the visitor side, there's nothing on those areas below the windows.
That's right.
And it's a golden opportunity for us to kind of put some branding and some lettering, so that's what this includes. So that's something extra, but it will be added onto that area.
Okay, you heard I heard the recommendation of the superintendent to have a motion.
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other questions? Anybody have any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify with that with their hand. Thank you. All right, now storm drain.
Yes, so you approved previously the Memorial Stadium pool demolition and parking lot, the paving project. And so as they've begun work on that project, there is a need to install a storm drain. And so that was not included in the original scope of work. And so in order for us to get this taken care of and to avoid any drainage issues in the future, the total amount will be $5,155. And the work will be done by J&K Utilities, which is, the company already working on that project. So I would like to recommend you approve that amount.
All right, you heard the recommendation of the superintendent to have a motion that we do that.
Motion.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do anybody else have any other questions? The main question is, are they going to be through before football season?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, hearing no other questions, all those in favor signify by the hand. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, we have approved EAS live scan equipment. And as I specified on the email, the Jackson County Sheriff's Department has been completing our background checks for employees. And after this month, so beginning July 1st of this year, they will no longer provide that service. And so we looked at different options. Did we go with another vendor outside the system? Kim did a lot of checking around with the districts across the state with her contacts and in our Northeast Georgia RESA, and this is the system that most of those school systems have used, and they recommend good results with that. So we'll be able to conduct those background checks in-house for our employees, and that actually may work out to be a little bit more efficient on our end and save a trip to the courthouse for new employees coming in. So the amount to purchase that equipment will be $12,252.09. Again, live scan equipment from Eagle Advantage Solutions.
All right, you heard the recommendation of the superintendent to have a motion to accept that.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other question? Let me ask, is this proprietary that this is the only company we can use this equipment with?
I believe so, yes.
So if
It's the
something happens,
fingerprinting. We have the equipment. We'll use our computers, but it's basically the fingerprint scanner. And then that includes like the training and obviously the transmission that goes to the GCIC, basically for the Georgia Bureau of Investigations background check process. So that doesn't, it is linked to them directly. And that's this is who the state uses as well. So.
all right. All right, you heard the recommendation. I had a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Anybody got any other questions?
Just make sure they don't send it to Louisville. Make sure they don't send it to Louisville. That'd be Jefferson.
Yes.
It says ship to Louisville.
They can bill it to Louisville.
Yeah, like a billet would be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
Good eye, Brett.
Yes, it's a good idea.
Willie's not here.
that take up for him. All right. We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by that. Thank you very much.
All right, purchase and installation of the JMS weight room floor. This was also mentioned in the facilities report, and this will be a similar floor as what we have in the arena. The total cost, $55,654.10, and this is from Total Strength and Speed. We will be using the equipment, the actual weight room equipment that was taken out of the arena when we upgraded that equipment. We've had that in storage, and that new equipment, that equipment will be used in the weight room at the middle school.
Okay. Do I have a motion? You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any other questions or concerns? When will they be able to use this, Brian?
So right now,
Because it looked like the construction was not ready finished on the weight room.
yeah, the new weight room won't be open until August 26th. So they'll continue to use the shed barn out back, which is what they did last year. So when they do this year, it's ready to go.
So what about this flooring? Where would it be stored somewhere, or what's the deal?
It'll be installed in probably January, February. So we just haven't ordered ahead of time, right? So
Okay.
it won't be installed until they have that room ready to go, so.
As soon as the school year starts, they'll start on those. So wrestling room, the cheerleading room, weight room. So work throughout the year. They didn't say that we would get it before the end of the school year, get access to that part of the building before then. So I anticipate August 26th. We want to have it ready.
Okay.
For install.
All right. Very good. Anybody have any other questions? I did the motion, didn't I?
Yeah.
All those in favor, signify with that hand. Thank you.
All right, we have the purchase of Chromebooks. This is 400 Chromebooks from Riverside Technologies for the amount of $126,400. And as I've mentioned to the board, this is a different device than what we have been ordering. These will be used to replace the 7 model that will be outdated. And what we're planning to do with these would be to put these in 3rd grade and then try this out. These are, I guess it's not really saying that they're more age appropriate, but they do not have all of the features as that high school model does with the touch screen and the stylus. We feel like it might be more age appropriate as we're starting to try to, look at other ways of sustaining the one-to-one initiative. And so we want to start with the 400 devices as opposed to the total number. So this does venture, off a little bit from what's outlined in the 5-year technology plan. But we want to try this model out and then, see if that's something we want to replicate in other grades. It should be, this device is $316 per device, as opposed to typically around about $500, Miranda. Okay. So we would like to make this in the form of a recommendation that we purchase these Chromebooks.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we purchase 400 new Chromebooks from Riverside Technologies, amount of $126,400. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. There it is there. Okay. Any other questions about this? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by the hand. Thank you.
All right, and the last item is to approve the request to prepare RFP for the JHS multipurpose facility. This, again, is an extension of our high school project, but we are going to actually move in a different direction and want to put out an RFP to be able to do a design build model with this. And so we just wanted to put this on there so that we can start working on getting more specific details regarding the specifications of the size, the dimensions, so that we can tie this into the RFP. And instead of having to wait another month to get that posted, we wanted you to go ahead and approve the request to allow us to move forward with the RFP process.
Okay.
And also, this will not only save time, but also money, taxpayers.
All right, you heard the recommendation of the superintendent that we go ahead and prepare the RFP for the high school multipurpose facility at the stadium. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Motion and a second. Anybody have any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying they're pretty good. And we've already done public comment, so we'll just move into. I get to talk to or ask questions of all the building people. It's hard to you like you cat that swallowed them out. So
Exactly.
She always does.
Kids, we got STEAM camp going on, we've got basketballs in play, I got to watch them the other day, a lot of energy, new energy, it's just exciting for those girls, and baseball had their kitty camp, it's just a full deal out here every day, so, it's great though.
a lot of stuff going
STEAM camp
on.
is like all ages, so, like that's a small shop this business.
Okay, yeah, and Miss Knight's not here.
That's right. She's on
How in the world did she
vacation.
get a vacation?
I don't know. She was going to try to take just a little bit of time to rest up. She's got a lot to do.
Got a lot of furniture.
Yeah,
to
I
move.
think so. Yeah. Oh, did they get to go to the beach? Okay.
They did what?
Yeah. The beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
What? I'm just living back here.
Ms. Ferguson, tell us what's going on at the academy.
Sure, we do have kids in the building, also we've got Summer Plus going on, which is our summer camp program, and they've been doing a lot of fun things. They have booked Miss Newberry, our art teacher, to come once a week. And my personal child, when she found out, she was thrilled. So I think that's been a big draw for our kids to get art lessons once a week.
Oh, that's good.
But we also have our summer school program going on, and we've got around 30-ish kids that are coming twice a week with some certified teachers, and 2 of our brand new hires are doing that. So it gives them a chance to kind of ease into teaching in Jefferson. Other than that, just cleaning, all the summer things.
All the summer things. That's good. Probably some painting going on somewhere in there. You don't have any painting?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I was walking around the building today thinking.
Also, while we're talking about
Yes.
the academy, we're still working on some options.
Thank you.
The new hire that Don made, he's got how many years in Gwinnett?
32 plus.
32 plus. So he's gonna bring a lot to the table. We're gonna get his 2 cents next week. Let him look at everything and get his thoughts.
And we know you want that before school starts, right?
Yes, that would be wonderful. That would be great. That would help us to raise money next year for Dragon Day. The kids see that.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Joyner.
Well, like the other buildings, we're super busy. We have a lot of kids in the building, and Annette can tell you about hers, but we have 2 summer classes also. And they have a lot of fun things going on. The bookmobile, today they had a painting activity with Mrs. Tabitha Riley, and they're having a blast. We have Dragon Den, and they have themes and field trips and art and all sorts of things going on. We have a lot of furniture in every hallway and other things. And it's very busy and crowded, and our custodians are waxing floors 90 to nothing and removing things around. And we're trying to get as much planning for next year done as possible before the APs go on vacation. So it's busy.
Been busy. I understand. Ms. Beckwith, she referred to you that you might have something going on.
There are so many great things happening for our little dragons. And thanks to y'all's support. The daycare, I cannot wait to see it. When you walk in, the transformation is beautiful. And you may or may not know there's been such response that we have to open up another classroom. So after tonight, we'll only have one opening though. All the other hiring is done. Ms. Alexander and I have interviewed, and we've got a great team assembled for our little babies. So we're excited about that. We do have our grant-driven summer program for rising pre-K and rising kindergarten classes. So the rising pre-K class targets our youngest children, so they're 3 years old and coming into our building every day. But they're doing great. And we're just immersing them in letters and sounds because, you know, the research says the kindergartner who knows their letters and sounds is the most likely ready for success. So daycare is going great, summer school is going great, and we actually wrote and were awarded the Sandra Dunnigan Deal Community Coalition Grant to help fund our Time to Play program. So I was on a webinar about that yesterday, and they are ready to start releasing funds so that we can work with our community parents about just how to invest in their children. So those relationships are built between them and their children, and they come to school well prepared. So really great things happening for our little dragons. And thank y'all, because none of this would happen without y'all.
Well, thank you, though. Nothing would happen without you, I'm sure. Well, how many children do you have in your programs right now?
40. Oh, and it's 40 in the summer program, but we are saving only 2. We are totally full for the fall of our 10 classes, but we are saving 2 spots because last year at the very end there were staff people who wanted spots. So we have a hefty waiting list, so I feel very confident. In July, we'll probably release those last 2 spots, which feel like all hiring will be done by then. But I really want our staff to have first dibs on pre-K. So basically, our program is full.
So 200, almost 200.
200?
Almost, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, 196.
Yeah, from 190. Okay. Anybody else? Y'all have any questions y'all like to ask?
Our new director of special education is with us today, Brandy Peplow. So she had to jump in with 2 feet and get started. So she's been busy this summer too.
All right, Brandy, if you'd like to tell us what's going on in your area.
Sure. First of all, thank y'all for allowing me the opportunity to make this transition. Dr. Metzger and I have been working on figuring out the transition. It's going very smooth. Supporting the kiddos in both of the elementary and academy that are coming for summer camp, and I've just dove all in. It's been all fun.
All fun? No, great.
Sure.
Glad to hear that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, again, anybody got any questions? Well, we'll say publicly, Teresa, I thank you for that article on the Director's Cup. It was really a good article, and I don't know whose arm you twisted to get it in the paper, but it was.
Odds were in our favor. That's all I can say.
Well, I'm glad it's in there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. Without that, you are going to need
Yes.
an executive session. And could I have a motion that will go into executive session?
So moved.
To a second. Motion and a second. Any other comments here? None. All those in favor say aye. Thank you.
I will say this is Brian's last meeting.